Now, before we heard your track, we were talking a bit about reviews. I'm wondering what your opinion are of reviews in general, as I know there's your big media, your CBCs, your Citizen, and you guys have had certainly some footing in there, but the blogosphere, how are you dealing with the millions of reviewers in the blogosphere? How's that work for you guys?
Well, I try not to read them, but I can't help it.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm really curious to know what people think because we're so quiet. We're a really, really quiet band. It's just part of our aesthetic, and we did have a lot of reviews who were saying, this is boring. This is like, I fell asleep after the second song or whatever. I'm like, second song, you made it past, what most people did. That's great. No, but I think the blogosphere has just been endlessly supportive of what we're trying to do. It's certainly got us some fans in places we'd never ever expect, and we went sort of other countries as well. England especially was really great, and it was nice to see that. So I definitely read them now.
You got some fans in Australia.
Australia and Ireland. I just sold 6 CDs there, so it's just it happens every once in a while. Someone just really likes it and buys everything at once, and it's great. But
thank you very much.
It's nice, and blogosphere has definitely helped.
Yeah. Do you kind of court any blogs or anyone specific in that world, or is it?
Well, I'd like to say I was kind of trying to get Pitchfork or like blogs like that or websites, but you're kind of dreaming in Technicolor if you think you can get press on these on a lot of these places. I think it's just way more fun to do your own thing and see who latches onto it. Because from there, people, if they like it, they'll just spread it themselves, and that was the case for a lot of the England stuff that happened. And
I guess it really does happen almost not quite by accident, but certainly not by design when things catch on in certain places like that, right? So how'd you end up getting over to the UK? The release itself, as you remember, was just like, it was a massive failure on my part. It was like Canada you heard
Post.
It here first.
Yeah, a massive failure. Orienteers.
We got a headline.
Not to sell myself short or anything, but no, it was like, Canada Post ended up losing 100 CDs while they destroyed them. Partly customs, partly in the rain. I don't know what happened, and then things were later. Then we tried to put CDs together ourselves, and the printer cut the CD in half. Like, I'm like, don't use staples. Anyway, it was.
We got high on glue, trying to glue them together ourselves.
Tom's like, I gotta stop this. So it was a total DIY.
This is really very indie.
Makes me think of the '80s when we were putting cassettes together at the library photocopier, cutting out the inlay cards from the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Right?
That's pretty much it.
That's exactly it. Taping over the cassettes.
Exactly.
But it was a big learning experience. And we wanted to focus on UK because I'd had some experience there and sort of the European side of things, where people go for a lot of quieter music, I find. It's difficult to compete with a lot of the stuff that's happening here on the North American side, and I just thought it'd be great to get a couple thousand email addresses together, and we worked with some folks that helped us out on that. But it was a great learning experience, and even though it didn't raise our name to the point where it was like a household name or anything like that, it was great to make those connections with people. Get a lot of bloggers that emailed me saying how much they liked the music, and just nice stuff like that.
And really thoughtful a lot of the time.
Really thoughtful.
I always feel like when you get a review and someone's really keyed in on something very specific, it's just not a generic. They've really listened, and they're really Oh, I liked what you did on and live shows too. That's always my favorite thing. When somebody, I love that, and that's the real thing. When people notice, it's really hit them in some way.
Yeah.
The music you did, for that record, certainly you described it very well. Are you working on new stuff now? What's your process as a band over those last couple of years creating new material?
Well, we got together about 2 years ago, right after we released the album, and we had a couple of days recording at my own studio, sort of in my basement. I like to call it a studio. It's more of a man cave. And basically we sort of set up... Well, that was it. It was like we were by the beer fridge most of the time and sort of, cooking and hanging out on the deck and also recording. And it was... we ended up with like almost 3 albums worth of material, and it was difficult to whittle down what we wanted the next album to sound like.
Yeah.
There was one that was really guitar rock focused.
Really
and
guitar
almost really,
you would be amazed. It was the same band.
Yeah.
Like,
and
outside
I thought
the realm of your normal vibe, I take
it.
Yeah,
that's it. And I love doing that, but it's good to be sort of consistent. And I think we chose some songs, at least about 10 or so now, that have been recorded and about to be mixed. That I really think really fit the sound.
Cool. I know your songs in general, again, it's a very unique sound, but it doesn't really follow your standard pop template, right? So when you are writing a song, either on your own or together, how does that image happen in your head? Where do you start?
The inspiration can strike at any time. It's a lot like writing a book or writing anything else, really. You just... you could be in a movie theater, you could be anywhere, and you just sort of got to go with it and say, well, that's the thing I'm trying to pull out of the air, and fit together because it fits together with this other great idea I had. And the process is not really a process; it's more sort of these two beams of light crossed.
It's like assembling ideas.
Yeah, and then you go home and you sit at the piano and you piece it all together, and strangely enough, the theme of it all comes together after that, I find. But that's just my own sort of way of doing things, and I usually take things to the band, and they add a completely different dimension to everything we're doing.
Right. I know on your Bandcamp page you've got a pretty cool cover of a New Order song.
Yeah,
which is my favorite New Order song, actually. So
really?
I've listened to it a few times. It's Regret, and it certainly managed to put your spin on it, but still, it's clearly the same song. It's got the same melody, the same riff. How did you approach a cover song like that and make it yours?
I don't think we have to try, really.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens.
Guys, just slow it down.
Yeah.
Put the pedal steel on it.
It's never really. It's never really a struggle.
Yeah. At the same time, we were kind of like, our sound is really sort of introspective and slowed down, and we had a hilarious jam a little while ago where we just took every cover we could think of and started playing it really slowly and whispery, and Guns N' Roses sound great that way, but I think like with the New Order song, the other dimension that we added on top of that was that we took the bass line and Tom turned it into a pedal steel line, and we added brush sticks and then a guitar chord that set of chords that backwards that sort of made things really different, and that's the point of doing a cover, I think. Yeah. Not only to add your own stamp, but to do things in a way that if people recognize the song, they'll be able to point those things out. So, yeah.
Cool.
And that was really successful for us too.
Yeah. That was a great track. I'm a fan, so I love the first record. I like That's the Spirit too, but that song was kind of like, hey, because I'm such a New Order fan, I love that song for like 20 years. I actually play it on my kid's little toy piano. Dun, dun, dun.
That bass line is so great. Yeah.
One more track before we go. What can you play for us before we hit the road?
This is May Queen Girl, a song about the changing of the seasons that I used to have a May Queen parade in Oxford. I used to live in Scotland and went to that. And just sort of a quiet little pedal steel focused piece.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Really
Pleasure.
appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having us
all the way down. And one more track from the Orienteers. We'll see you next time.
So many words, just a little time to find the deceiving day. They call you cruel, they call you kind, they call you miles and miles away. Magdalene and flowers, May Queen girl, May Queen girl, are you real? Maybe you're the word bringer, maybe you're the word. May Queen girl, are you real? You're always around, you're hard to find. Processions, bridges away. Maybe you're the breeze, maybe you're goodbye. Fell with the Queen of May, Magdalene and flowers. May Queen girl, May Queen girl, are you real? Maybe you're the word bringer, maybe you're the word. May Queen girl, are you real?